So yeah, what episode is this? 39?
39, motherfucker.
39. We close to 40.
Close to 40, almost at the 40 mark.
I love this.
Quick shout out to everything that went down at Monica House over the weekend. This will be out next week.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
we had Winter
Fest. We had a 3-day festival here.
30 bands.
Nice.
We were here all day Saturday, starting at I got here about 1, and we interviewed people till fucking I think the last interview we did was at like midnight.
Yeah, so it was almost 12 hours of podcasting.
Yeah, I mean it only come out to about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we tried to interview every band that was there, but it was like 10 minutes. 10 minute
yeah, so
10,
12 bands. 12 bands at that's 120 minutes, so that's about right.
But it was cool.
So that's about right. A little bit longer episode, but still be fucking fun.
It was also the first night that we recorded a show at Slow Coast. Like we recorded all the bands that night.
Oh yes, you guys, the studio was getting all that stuff.
Now I believe we recorded every band over the whole festival.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, all of them.
So that'll be really cool.
Are you being able to be heard today, John, or no?
No.
Or is he off?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say no. Definitely not.
No. We hear him, but I don't know if it goes into the fucking mics anymore.
No, I turned his ass down.
Did you? Yeah. You fucking cut him.
Yeah,
oh, fucking sound. Guys.
So, quick shout out to Monica House for we did podcast through that whole Winterfest. The second day was a fucking blast. I was tired as fuck afterwards, but it was a fucking good goddamn time.
Yeah, it was wore out for sure.
Yeah, and we just recently posted some flyers up on the Facebook page. And if you're looking to get into those spots as well, get with us. We're charging just $5 a week for your upcoming shows, or for the whole month, $15. We're still doing that. So get with us on getting that in. And if you want to use this ad space that we're about to drop, the graphic where all these Monica House shows that are coming up, if you want to see your ad space there, get with us. It's the same thing. It's all included in the $5 price. So get with us, and we'll run that graphic real quick.
Awesome. So I'm excited for tonight's show. I don't know Michelle very well, but we have Michella Tripoli on the show.
Michella.
Yeah,
oh, Michella.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're about to get corrected.
Michella. Okay, yes.
I'm over here just
I'm used to
off the rails happy that you fucked
He's
up
always the one that
name.
fucks up somebody's name.
Oh, man. You said Michelle. I was like, I know it's Michelle. I was like, I'm
Story
sure.
of my life, guys. No worries, though.
And pronounce it for us. You don't let us dumb guy through it.
It's literally just Michelle, like Michella.
Michella, and how do you say your last name?
Tripoli.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, we've been looking to have a tattoo artist on our show for a hot minute. So you are the first tattoo artist to come to our show. So appreciate
Honored.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Where do you work at? What shop are you at?
I'm at Symbolic Tattoo.
Nice.
It's like in Delano area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know right where you're talking about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Who owns that place you want to shout out to? Over?
Cam Smith is the owner. Super amazing artist himself. Among like 20 other things that he does. He's crazy, like amazing, does it all. How many
artists you guys got working out of that shop?
I want to say about 10.
Oh, nice.
Maybe including our piercer too. But yeah, it's a great bunch. We have people that do like all different types of styles. I think that's the coolest part about it. There's no matter what you're kind of going for, we have somebody that's like that's their thing.
Right. What's your style? What would you say you do?
I've only been tattooing for about a year and a half now, so I'm still kind of figuring that out.
Right.
But my art, my painting is very colorful, very surreal. So I like to do realistic stuff where I can kind of challenge myself to like see how close I can match the photo. But I also really love color, and I love just like
that new school kind of vibe.
Yeah, and I like exploring like movement. Which is like my abstract stuff that I do. So eventually, like I want to do tattoos like my paintings, but kind of working up to that. But I love doing color, like animals, realism, all that's up my alley.
It's got to be a whole different technique, right? I mean,
oh yeah. When I first started, it was so completely different. It threw me off, but I knew that going in. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I'm also the type of person I like a challenge. So
I like asking this question to tattoo artists. When was the jump from? When did you decide like I'm gonna do tattoos now? Because you were an artist before that. Obviously, you said you only been tattooing for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. What was your mindset on moving over to doing tattoos?
So when I graduated high school, I had got a job right after that at Pino's Palette. They're not open anymore, but it was like a paint and sip. So you go and you do a little easy painting tutorial, and you sip wine. It's fancy and classy.
It's kind of like girls get together and do that shit for like.
Yeah,
basically, yeah. We did like
the corks and
bachelorette
canvas.
parties.
I mean, I would go to those things.
It was fun. We had all types of people, but it was mainly
couples
like
and shit, couples and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, date nights and stuff.
like, you know, soccer moms, like
People that like to paint.
yeah, but we had every type of person there too. And I love that job. That's kind of how I learned more painting techniques. Like I grew a lot of confidence doing that job because I was one of the teachers, so I had to get up there and.
There's no better way to learn people.
Yeah,
Teach
no,
them.
seriously, because I had to figure out, well, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing that's making this technique work?
You can't just flow. You
When,
have to,
and when you're teaching,
articulate.
when you're teaching in anything, if you take pride in it, which all good people do that, like to teach other people, you go intricately through that process again, and you cut out all the laziness that you were doing because you've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
So like you go back to going real intricately through whatever that process is again.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching someone how to get there, so it makes you sharpen your skills like exponentially.
Exactly. So I was doing that for 4 years, and I really grew into my style and just like my personality. I just kind of blossomed there, and so I owe a lot of my art career to working there for sure. It just helped me kind of discover myself. But after so long, I didn't really feel like I was learning anymore, and I just knew that it. As much as I had learned there, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. So I was trying to think of things that I could do that I could stick with for a while. One of my friends had started tattooing, and that was kind of one of the things like in my head where I was like, I kind of forgot about it. I always thought tattooing was amazing. I just never thought I was good enough for it, to be honest.
Well, to me, it's as an artist, it'd be scary.
It's so scary. Exactly. I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, there's
fuck. Zero room for error. You have to stab people.
I guess you can fuck up a little bit, but like,
but it's very intimidating.
Yeah, I can see how like, whew.
And I had no idea how to even try to get into the industry. I didn't really know tattoo artists. Like, I knew nothing. I barely even had tattoos. Like,
it's hard to be part of that industry unless you have tattoos.
Yeah, I had I mean, I had like a basement tattoo.
Did you trust the skinny chef?
Like,
well, I mean, I would just wish. I wish this was, and I love that it's getting better and better. So, shout out to all tattoo shop owners are making their places a lot more inviting.
Yeah,
they used to be kind of intimidating for people that didn't have tattoos. I've heard a lot of people just get treated kind of.
Well, there was such a stigma on it. Like I remember growing up, Oklahoma wouldn't even do tattoos. Like people were coming across the border into Kansas to get tattoos because you couldn't get one in Oklahoma.
No shit.
Yeah, and so there was such a stigma. It's always like, oh, that's for bikers and military or.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
For a long time, that was one.
Yakuza.
It's way cooler now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full-on art form these days.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got one now. You know,
right? So were you doing? So not too long out of high school, you talked about transferring over to tattoos. Were you doing original artwork all through high school and stuff like that? Like, how did you?
Yeah. So high school, I did. I was kind of doing like drawing, like mostly. Kind of trying out like realistic stuff. I've been doing art my whole life, but I just started taking it more and more seriously. I did like the Scholastics art show in high school. I won like.
Did you have a good art teacher that got kind of pushed in the right direction?
I did. I had
Good.
Mr. Buckingham,
Yeah,
Miss Seville. I think she's Miss McColston now. She got remarried. But yeah, I owe a lot to them. They really encouraged me.
Shout out to those art teachers and every other art teacher. Every time I hear an artist like that, there's always a good ass art teacher.
Yeah. My art teacher at the time, Miss Seville, she was actually the one that got me or suggested I apply for Pinot's palette, and I didn't at the time think I was qualified for that because everybody there pretty much had art degrees, were art teachers already. Like that was like her like little weekend like side job thing. She was like, you could really do it. I know you could. And I was like, I don't know.
Well, sometimes your talent exceeds your education.
Yeah. So
you don't always have to you don't always have to have it on paper.
Yeah.
And
So
sometimes
I learned
education can't tell you.
Yeah.
Sometimes education can't teach you art or music.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I was pressured to go
Especially in
to college right after high school. And I mean, I think, a lot of people are. And I always kind of knew that, I don't know, I always kind of had a feeling that like that wasn't for me. Like I didn't want to just follow like the same path that like a lot of people did. Like I felt like I didn't know exactly how it looked or what that meant, but I just knew that I wanted to make my own path.
Yeah, you had to find it one way or another.
Yeah. I've always been like kind of like a like independent, like kind of leader type individual.
Carve your own path type shit.
Well, that's how the cool shit happens. That's how the cool stuff happens.
Sometimes you have to go against the fucking. You have to be the trout, man. You gotta go against the stream, or is it salmon? Salmon go against the stream. I can't fucking. But you gotta go the fucking opposite way of everybody else is going sometimes, and not do the normal shit.
Well, just if you're doing it genuinely for you, a lot of times that's finding your own path in it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of artists and stuff, we grow up doing it like you were saying. You know, I'm in school and I'm doodling on a pad and I'm doing art. You know, but I'm not thinking of it like seriously. This is just kind of fun,
right?
And it's a weird thing to realize that this thing I do for fun actually could like be a career.
Well, it's
path,
because a lot of people, unless you get a great art teacher or you have a really encouraging family, like it's not presented as a fucking option.
Yeah, they tell you not to.
No matter. I mean, I've seen a ton of kids growing up who hasn't. That's carrying around a fucking shitty little notebook like this when they were kids, and they got some of the most intense art you've ever seen inside those damn things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like or some of the intense writing or whatever they got in their book that they do on their own, and nobody's there to reciprocate that talent to them or even present that as a fucking option,
or even find it valuable.
Yeah, or
you know
even,
what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
give
like,
them just like, man, you know, like this is something. You know, you got something here. You transfer these to different mediums. You know, you really can do.
Next time you see one of those kids, man, buy a piece of art for $10 and see what it does for you.
Yeah, maybe that is
buy a notebook page for $10.
I would definitely say like having support from a young age when you are in that
it means something, man.
Very like starting out point. It means a lot. Like I don't think I would have had the confidence to pursue like a lot of the things that I did if I didn't have those people from the very beginning. My oldest brother, he's an artist too. He was probably one of the first people to be like,
what's your brother's name? Shout out to him.
Josh Tripoli. He's an artist too. He did a lot of murals.
So you got any where to reach him? Pimp his stuff. I don't care.
I think it's just joshtripoli.com. But
he's got a website. He's doing better than us. We're still
I'm
still working on that website.
Him and his girlfriend Rebecca Lewis. They did a lot of murals around town before they've moved since, but. They were killing it here for many years.
Shout out to your brother.
Yeah, they were always supportive, and that meant a lot to me when I was kind of.
Well, it's nice to see that there's a path to it. That's always. I feel like a lot of artists are like sit with their art and sometimes don't even show some of their closest friends. Are like, is this shit even good enough? Like, can I do anything with this?
Yeah,
and nobody knows what to do with it. I feel like musicians and artists do that a lot of that.
Well, it's so close to you. You know what I mean?
Look at you, the fucking asshole at the movie theater with his.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
This motherfucker acts like he's never been on a fucking podcast. We've only done.
By the way, this is Nathan Underwood from Unwired Records in Oklahoma City.
Let's talk to Nathan for a minute.
He's wanting to do a podcast. We could, I suppose.
I mean, just tell him. We'll just say, hey, man, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, right.
He's fucking treading on Michella's time.
But yeah, he has a bunch of rappers coming to Barleycorns January 12th. It's like I can't even promote it in time. Because
that's what's. Well, I mean, and that's what kind of thing we're working on. Even to backtrack just a little bit. Eventually, we want to be able to live stream, like when Monica House is having shows here and we're podcasting, like we can do it live.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And and they're trying to do the same thing. I don't know if you've done this, but there's a bunch of artists in town. I don't know if you did this before you did tattoos or anything like that, but they do, like an artist does art live on scene at a venue while the music's going on and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know who or whatever brought that, but I love that.
Well,
I did a lot of live painting.
Yeah, I love that.
And I want to get back to this thought though.
Yeah, please.
About like we're talking.
We go like 8 different areas.
We're talking about artists and musicians kind of having the same place where we don't want to show our art, right?
Yes,
that's what we were talking about, and this ties in. I promise. It's a thing of like this is a vulnerable space for us. We might be making a piece or writing a song. From a place of pain or hurt or something that we don't really actually want to share. We clouded it up in this painting, or we like referenced it lightly in this song, but like
is it too vulnerable? Is that what it is?
Well, it's a vulnerable place, and when you get shut down by sharing this like vulnerable thing, that sucks really bad. That hurts.
I seen it as musicians from these guys, and I'll ask your perspective on it. Like, I know a lot of artists will like beat a painting or a piece or whatever to death, and they never will, finish it.
Oh yeah.
Like songs, I know with original content, with people that write songs do the same thing. Do you have that experience of like?
Oh yeah.
Like you get this like hold over a piece, and you don't know when to let it go.
It's like art is never finished; it's surrendered.
You're right there. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. I still have paintings that I've started years ago, and I just. Maybe one day I'll finish them. Most of the larger ones that I've done have been years of work where maybe it sits in my basement for a couple months at a time until I kind of get the inspiration to work on it again. But then there's ones that I'll set up and do a live painting,
snap 'em out.
and I'll just
power through.
Yeah. So I think as an artist, it's healthy to do a little bit of both. To have like a passion project that you're working on and you really care about, so you want to take your time on it, and then just to keep your creativity fresh.
Set a timer.
Yeah, and just to challenge yourself to like to
have
create
a deadline.
something.
Have a deadline is kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Sometimes I'll do live painting at shows, and I'll just tell myself I'm just gonna finish something tonight, and I love doing that. That's for me. It's kind of freeing because I don't have any crazy expectations for myself. When I do like the larger, very meaningful, personal type paintings, I set really high expectations. And then even when I eventually just decide, okay, I've exhausted everything I have into this, it needs to be done. Whether or not, of course, I could spend another year or, it could, like you were saying, like it could basically just never be done.
Sometimes
but eventually
they're
there's
not
just
really
like
finished.
a point where it's like, I just need to sign it.
When does that point finally come for you? I want to hear both of you. From the music aspect and is there something that just do you end up like kind of fucking it up and you're like, okay, I need to fucking stop. I go, why do I? So go. Same with you.
Yeah,
right.
I mean-
You write songs, you write jingles and shit. Is there a point where you're just like, okay, man, I gotta quit fucking dealing with this. It's done.
I try not to. I just be like, let's see what that does, and then I'll run it by you or John or somebody.
I'll just kind of it put it out in the ether.
I see the vulnerability that we all feel as kind of a problem. You know what I mean? And that's why I love communities like Monica House, where we get in here and we're really open to share our art and really open to share kind of our music and even talk about our process and talk about our pain sometimes, like it. Yeah,
that's what I think.
When we find that community, it's really valuable, So I try to take that vulnerability out of it and just fucking let it go, And
I love that about you, by the way.
Because I'm around a lot of people that I trust, and if you were to tell me, bro, that song kind of sucks. You know what I mean? You can't fucking you can't. No, it's just cheesy as shit. You can't do it.
Well,
then I go.
That's
all
kind
right,
of
cool,
criticism
okay.
you give us. So that's what I love about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I will give you that criticism. I will tell you when something is cheesy as
it
fuck.
ain't working.
Yeah.
Sometimes the shit ain't working.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know how. Sometimes I could get because I write bits and shit and keep working on them and write shit for this show and write. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, stop doing that. So I don't know if you guys ever get to that point. Do you guys get? I mean, how do you get to the point where you're like, okay, fuck, I need to sign the corner of this motherfucker and get out?
It's really, really tough. Pretty much all of the paintings I've done that are done, I still look at and I'm like,
If I had a brush,
could do a little more. But I think when it is good doing live paintings, I do get a lot of feedback right then and there. I can explain what I'm trying to convey, and usually people get it, and they people all the time will be like, oh, so is it you're gonna finish it tonight or is it done? And I'm like, oh no, they don't see what I imagine, so there's no way for them to know if it's done or not. It's truly up to me, so that makes it even harder. But I think with my paintings in particular, when I'm very detail oriented, and I just want to pack in the detail. And when I'm unsure, thank you, of what else to add, I'll just kind of stare at it for an hour. And so for me, I think it's that if I'm just staring at it for a long time and it persists, and I just try to think well, I don't even know what else I would do. So I try to just maximize the entire space. So eventually I just kind of get to a point where it gets harder and harder to think of things to add.
So I'm curious about something here. When I chose music as the thing that I was going to pursue, because I felt really good about it and passionate about it, I thought about it, and I think that music and probably any kind of art is it's a journey you will never actually end, right? It's an ongoing thing. You can do it for your whole life. You can do it for lifetimes on end. And there's always somewhere else to go. There's always something to do. There's, there's some place. And so as a microcosm of that is probably what we're talking about with a song or a piece.
I mean, shit, I even have that in the podcast at the end. Every show that we do, I'm like, I wish I would have said this.
Yeah.
Well, I would have done that. Like, because, I've kind of outlined the show and kind of you missed some points you wish you would have fucking said.
I think the art's, it's a never ending road. So on a smaller piece of that puzzle, on a microcosm of that scale, like, this is probably never actually going to be done either. It's just going to be.
So no art's never done. You're all fucked.
Yeah.
For me, it is like kind of a double-edged sword because it is like that existential dread of like, will I ever, live up to this idea of like what, success looks like or what, my dreams are. And then I think about that stuff and then I look back on on how far I've come. And then I try to tell myself like, I am living my dream because I'm doing what I love to do. And for me, the fact that the journey never ends is kind of the best part about it.
That's what I think too.
There's no limit to what I can do, where I can go, who I can meet.
I can stop everything I'm doing right now. I can go in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
And that's still art.
I think it's very freeing. That's why I never wanted to do
regular shit,
for the lack of a better term. But yeah, I just always felt like I had the power to kind of create my own life.
I mean, the 9 to 5 ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We need.
It's funny how that doesn't kill the anxiety though.
No,
that doesn't kill like.
So yeah, it's always it's a constant
a
like don't get me wrong, like like I love what I do, but it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's constant emotional, physical stress, like all of it, and it never stops.
And I live a lot of gig to gig instead of like paycheck to paycheck, like your 9 to 5ers.
Yeah, I mean it's all kind of the same. It's a grind on both ends. Like it's just a different fucking grind.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting people to embrace that there is a different way. There's a different grind. This isn't the 70s.
There's a million ways.
You don't have to fucking be and shout out to everybody that works at a job. I did it forever for the city.
I can't do it.
I worked 15 years for the city.
I have a lot of respect for people that can do that.
And then shout out to everybody that's making shit happen all across the world. We need every bit of the people that do that. But I want it to be more acceptable for the percentage of people that want to go the other way.
Or that have to. Okay, look, I think it would be I think it would be totally easier to have a 9 to 5 and just make money that I can count on.
Not if you got all these creative thoughts in your head. It's almost like a fucking burden.
I'm good at a lot of things. Okay.
Could you think of stifling your creativity? Could you guys think of that? Like, could you think of like shelving the shit that's in your soul and doing something that that for nothing?
Right. I never. That's the thing. Like that's
you could.
Exactly.
Some people just can't do that.
That was the thought that I had in my head. Like, you should go to college. We'll go to college for an art degree. And I was like, okay, well, what do you do with that? You become an art. You become
what you're doing now already.
Or you just do it. And so that was my thing. It's like, well, I believe in myself. I don't know, but I'm going to make it happen regardless.
And you find yourself already there.
And I have such a long way to go. Like, and that, it's hard to be like, when I get to this point, I'll be completed. But that's the whole thing. It's just that it's an ongoing journey. But I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah. So did you get any success like selling paintings and stuff before you transitioned into doing tattoo work? Or
absolutely.
So like you were already kind of establishing yourself as an artist with your art.
So when I was, I've always been sharing my art. It just kind of gradually, grew over time. It was never like a, here's a singular moment when I like started.
There wasn't. Where's the point that like where did you get your break? Like,
I would say, when I worked at Pinot's, I was painting all the time, so I was constantly inspired to paint more. And then I started using those techniques that I had refined to do my own things. I started trying to figure out, because for the longest time I was just kind of doing art just to kind of like see if I could do it, just to like get better at the actual craft. But what I realized I was missing was like my voice. Like, so I tried to think
your
about
style, kind of,
like, what do I want to say? Like, who am I as an artist?
Right. I feel like musicians get to that point too.
Yeah,
like you've learned the techniques.
Yeah.
Now who the fuck am I?
What are you gonna do with it?
Do I have a message? Should I have a message?
So I try to think about things that were relevant to my life.
That's a tough spot for an artist to be in.
Yeah, that were personal, that I felt were also relatable. And once I kind of broke down those walls of like, this is who I am, this is the kind of art that I do, this is what inspires me. I connected with a lot of people. The more vulnerable I became, the more connected I was. Because everybody.
That's what I'm saying. You find your people.
Yeah, you do.
You find your family.
And I have an unbelievable amount of support. I could just melt into a puddle of gratefulness. Like there's so many people that support me, and I don't know if I deserve it or if I could ever give it back.
If you get it, you deserve it. Like people do not go out of their way to support people that don't deserve it.
Don't second guess their motives.
Yeah,
but it means a lot to me.
Especially if you've been.
And everybody out there supporting local artists and anybody with a dream. I've had great family members that support my shit and our shit too. So I shout out to all those people for sure. Anybody that gives you a little bit of support.
There's a lot of cool local stuff happening.
There's tons. Yeah.
So we're making a little bit of money. We're making some art. When do you go, I'm grabbing a fucking machine and here we go. Did you tattoo on yourself first?
That's funny. That actually was my first tattoo, was on myself. Yeah.
I feel like every
standard.
Nobody wanted to be my first test subject.
My tattoo artist, Josh Cruz, God rest his soul, rest in peace to Josh Cruz.
Yes.
Did tons of his own artwork on himself.
Yeah.
Like he did a ton of his. He's like, dude, how you do? Like, he's like, when you're learning, it's like nobody wants to.
I didn't realize that was your guy.
But it's like I got skin. Like
I haven't got a tattoo since he passed away. I'm kind of at a staggering stop with my.
I haven't got any since
sleeve.
I stopped being able to afford them.
That's just and because you want to give them their thing. But anyway, before I interject too much, when was how you went to the going to tattooing and you started on yourself like all of them do?
Yeah. So going back to the Pinot's palette stuff, like I had felt for after working there almost 3-4 years. Again, loved my experience there. Learned a lot about myself, about art, about dealing with people, about being able to work under pressure. I think is a huge part of it.
That's the deal.
Accomplish goals under pressure.
And being able to be a leader. I was naturally a very shy, timid person. I would just
you broke through that. I feel
drawing in my sketchbook off in the corner. Like I didn't want you to see. No, don't look at my drawing. It's not done. But that job helped me be like, I'm here. You're gonna listen to what I have to say. I know what I'm talking about.
Gave you a little backbone, huh?
Yeah, it did. And I've never looked back. It's only gotten stronger. But just like I was saying, like it just at a certain point, like I was just getting burnt out. I wasn't learning anything. I felt like I had taken everything I could learn from that experience, and I wanted the next challenge. So one of my best friends, Don Pursuit, amazing artist. He runs Sketch Club. His tattoos.
Name is what is his name again?
Don Pursuit.
Don Pursuit?
Yes.
What a cool name.
He's amazing. You should interview him
you know
next.
Who that is?
No.
Me either.
He runs Wichita Sketch Club. He does figure drawing classes. I'd love to get in contact with him.
He sounds like a good interview.
He is amazing. That's my favorite person. Anyway,
nice.
he started apprenticing to tattoo, and
is that where you kind of got your inspiration?
It gave me the idea that like that is an option, and I had just
great money in it.
A lot of my paintings were very what I do is like very pressure based, and it's a lot about the movement of your hand and the steadiness and like applying pressure in certain ways. And
you can nerd out on us. Tell us.
But I just kind of realized like at a certain point, like I do have a pretty steady hand here after I had been painting for so long. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Like, I think I probably could tattoo if I tried, like once I commit to something, I'm going to do it. That's just how I function. And it was really crazy. As soon as I made that decision, like, I think I want a tattoo. I can't even explain it, but the path just opened up before me. I think I had made like a post on Facebook, like kind of halfway joking, like, haha, who wants to apprentice me to tattoo, haha. And one of my friends,
kind of a joke feeler.
Yeah, just like,
like, hey, someone please actually take this serious.
But I didn't think anything was going to come out of it. But then one of my friends tagged this artist, Shelly Waweaten, I think is how you say it.
Oh, I know who you're talking
She's
about.
awesome. I love her.
I think I've seen that name written down.
Yeah, I think she's in.
I was like Way Wotan.
I could be saying it wrong, and I feel bad
couldn't
if I
say.
am.
I hope you guys both are.
But she's amazing. I think
fucks
she's
up
in
every name.
Oklahoma.
So I love when other people do.
But he tagged her and being like, oh, like she's awesome. You'd love her. She could teach you. But she wasn't able to at the time, but she still encouraged me and was like, you know, she actually took the time to like send me a nice reply. Like, I
At least
can't.
it's nice when somebody.
But, you know.
Just go for it.
Yeah, keep going. Like, you know, you can do it. And
you don't need me, kind of thing, really.
But then it was just crazy because I was like, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to reply. A week later, she ended up messaging me like, hey, we need someone to work the desk at Symbolic Tattoo. And I was like, I'm there. And so it started off
that's
as
a foot in the door.
It was. That's what I thought. I didn't even think that was going to be.
You're now in the community, in the family.
Anything.
Well, and you get to sit there and learn. Now I can, and
That's
you seem like a really smart person. You're going to sit there and soak up information.
Absolutely. So for me, I was just like, it was only one, like it was every Saturday, and I was still working at Pino's at that time.
But that grows.
Yeah, and then I think right after that, like I'm saying, it was just like a domino effect. This stuff just started lining up. Somebody that was working during that week at the desk quit or lost her job. I'm not sure what happened. But then they ended up like right away being like, hey, you know, can you work the rest of this week? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Fuck Pino's.
I was just kind of.
I'm over. This wine is great. This cheap wine is great. But I'm about to kick rocks on this shit.
So I don't know if this is the way
it's
that.
It's a little cooler world. Tattoo world's cooler than Pinot world. Let's be honest.
I don't know if this is the way that actually went down, but I can just see it happening because I've seen it so many times. Right? It's like. We're talking about artist communities come together where you can be vulnerable and where you can share like trade secrets and where you can become this family, right? So they give her 1 day a week, right? They go, come on in. You can be the door.
Well, they knew that they was going to get her.
And that was going to be a thing. I'm sure there was like this closet conversation of like, hey, she's pretty cool. We should probably like, you know what I mean?
Well, and she's a good artist already. She's all right. So too at that point.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I've just seen it happen so many times where it's like, yeah, I like her. We should totally keep her on. And then it went on, right?
It was crazy when I first started there because I didn't even know Shelly. Bless her for even giving me a shot, or you know, she didn't know me. She had no reason to do anything for me. But she put in a good word for me, and I started working there Saturdays, which like a week later turned into me being there like all the days. So that's when I kind of realized like, okay, I need to like quit Pino's palette. Yeah, I was like, I have an opportunity here.
Well, it's just more cool. You graduated into a cooler world.
And
you
even
proved yourself.
I mean, working at a tattoo shop's cooler than working at fucking the Pinot Palace.
It didn't pay like very much at first because I wasn't tattooing. There was no guarantee of anything, you know, like I just was cleaning.
You were scheduling fucking appointments and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You were the fucking front desk girl.
Right. So I did not honestly expect anything to like come out of that necessarily. I just thought, I could at least learn, you know, kind of see what the industry's like. Yeah,
They tip you out a bit.
And then eventually I kind of like.
They do? Yeah. No, that's nice. I didn't know that's how
I think they're all, and they maybe run a little differently, but yes, that is how I think most of them work.
Yeah, that's how most of them work.
Okay, that's good.
But eventually, like I was super shy at first because I was like, I don't know these guys, like they don't know me. I was very like polite and professional. I didn't really know how to act. And they were just kind of like, they kind of thought I was like, oh, this industry's gonna,
young too.
You know, this is gonna spit her out, and you know, like she's too soft, you know. But I was just trying to be polite. Like I didn't really know. I wanted to make a good impression, but eventually I kind of realized like I could talk my shit too. And,
I think that's a good employee. First and foremost, you never come in.
You know,
you never come in cock strong, act like you own the place.
Exactly.
First and foremost, learn their
shit. That's what I did wrong.
Well, you can always become the strong leader. But first come in and learn their procedures.
Yeah.
So you can't come in and shit on everything that they do like you're so smart and whatever. They've been doing this as their business.
And I've learned that as I get older.
So you come in, you learn their procedures, you gain their trust, gain their respect, and then you can be like, hey, this is fucking stupid. Can we change this? Hey, can we fucking do this? You know, this is better. This is this, blah, 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 blah.
See, I'm just too honest for all that. You know, like I come in and I see a problem and I just go, fucking that's
you have to earn credibility.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I had to earn my spot. So I realized that. Nobody there owed me anything. Nobody knew me. Nobody gave a shit about me. Like, I don't know if I can cuss, sorry.
No, you can say whatever.
Okay.
You haven't been listening to me?
I guess that's true.
I mean, I mean, I feel like, well,
but
I mean, maybe, I haven't said a cuss word one in this one.
I never wanted to give off the impression that like I, just deserved or was entitled to be there because
Well, that's a good person.
Never feel entitled.
You can be super talented and be a little cocky.
There's a big line between cocky and confident.
That's very true. That's very true.
I think entitled. You can be. You should.
That's on the cocky side.
Well, I think people should be a little cocky if they're talented because you can be confident, but sometimes you forget. Just in being confident, you don't promote yourself.
Well,
there's definitely a fine line there.
It is. It's a bunch of tough fine lines to walk.
When I first started, I didn't really go out of my way to be like, hey, everybody look at me. I do art and I paint and I just kind of did my job because that's, it didn't really matter. Like I was just there to clean and do my appointments and whatever I was doing. And I knew, I'm confident in myself. Like I have a hard time with that sometimes, like, going out of my way to promote myself. It feels like
cringy.
Yeah, it feels like I'm being like bragging and stuff.
I do it. I do it every day with our podcast.
I work on that
every I hit.
Because I feel like I'm confident in what I do. I like what I do. People will see it and they'll come to me. So when I first started there, I just kind of like minded my business. I didn't like shove my art in people's faces and be like, look. But eventually they kind of figured it out, and I was like, oh yeah, I do art.
Then you got. I mean, once it gets a little traction, you do have to push it, or it won't go further.
And
there's a fine line in this goddamn aspect of it too. There's over promoting, kind of letting the people not get too much of you, but get enough.
It's a very fine balance.
It's a fucking pain in the ass.
I like what you said though. It's just like I don't put it in their face, but when they find out, I kind of go,
yeah, here you go.
Yeah, like because I'm confident in what I do, but I never want it to be like. I never want to have to convince someone to support me.
Yeah,
I feel like if they see what I do and they connect with it, then they will support you.
Find it.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
And if you're feeling if you're feeling it, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's I don't want anybody to.
But and that's another fine line with the same thing is you have to not over push it, but you have to make it available.
Yeah.
And so you're always trying to like beat these stupid algorithms because you never know what post half the people see. Or a third of the people see. So it's annoying.
Don't even get me started on the algorithms.
I mean, it's so fucking
those
annoying.
algorithms.
I mean, it's just, so the first time you pick up the machine, whose machine do you get? And do you have tattoos already, or is your first tattoo done by you?
So when I had started there, like I said, I knew nothing about the industry really because I only had like a basement tattoo and one small.
Some like Skullman tattoo or some shit. Remember? You know who Skullman is?
No.
You don't?
I just had some really
Shout
small
out to
ones.
Crazy Weird Skullman.
I never had like a
He's probably in
big,
jail.
like super. I had like one that my friend did when he was apprenticing, but that was it. Just two really small ones.
So you'd had tattoos before you tattooed yourself.
Yes. So when I was at the desk, eventually people found out I did art. They kind of realized who, like, what I did.
They're like, oh shit, this girl's fucking.
And there was one guy there, Jose Valadez. He was, I think, one of the only people that were able to do a formal apprenticeship.
So you could have somebody under you.
Why was he able? A certain amount of hours?
So the way Kansas works is like, to do an apprenticeship for someone, you have to be fully licensed for, I think, 6 years. So he was the only person that technically met that
requirement.
standard. So I eventually got up the courage to ask him for apprenticeship, and he was basically just like, yeah.
Okay.
He was like, I was already thinking.
Well, shout out to that guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I owe him everything. He like, gosh, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but
I love that shit.
the way
Water, bro. I had to have some water.
the way that some apprenticeships go, from what I hear, are they kind of haze you. They treat you like crap.
Okay, explain that. Is that a little bit a part of the tattoo community?
So hear me out.
Is it really?
Hear me out.
Guys, man.
There's a reason for that, and I absolutely understand and respect that because at that point, tattooing, was very underground. It wasn't just something that everybody did. You kind of needed like to prove yourself, and you had to deal with a lot of extra shit. So they wanted to toughen you up, basically, from my understanding.
So it was a little trial by fire, kind of get you in
Yeah,
there,
like,
get you ready.
you know, they wanted you to like,
Because I guarantee you tattoo artists deal with some bullshit.
Yeah, oh God, absolutely.
We could do a whole show on
I'm
just you guys.
super lucky, super blessed that I really did not have like a bad experience at all apprenticing. You know, there's like small moments, but overall I'm super spoiled, super lucky.
That was a big question I had, like, because I get that culture. Okay, you go to a tattoo convention, there are like titties and cars and like you know what I'm saying, like it's a fucking like male dominated whole thing.
So especially for me going in there.
So how has that been, like being a woman getting into this like scene? I mean,
again, I got so lucky because first of all, the person that even like helped me to get my foot in the door was also a female artist, and that in itself meant a whole lot to me.
Shout out to her,
Shelly.
And you were saying that you didn't know why. I think I know why, because she's seen another female compadre coming in. Like,
and
like please,
why not
please
embrace the shit out of that?
Please,
I agree with that. Like I'm all for supporting like fellow female artists.
We got a pretty good stable of female tattoo artists in this town.
Yeah, we do.
Morgan Knox is in one of them.
And musicians on my end. We have a lot.
So
I mean, there's even a few that I can't even think of names right now, but there's a lot of good fucking female tattoo artists in this town.
Absolutely. So she helped me get my foot in the door, and then I just happened to be very lucky to be at my particular shop because everybody there just thinks about it differently overall, like doesn't really necessarily, you know, I don't know how they viewed me at the time, but I feel very blessed and lucky to be given the opportunity that I was. You know, they say that I earned it and stuff, but I'm just like, man, I really did get lucky, and I know that.
There's a little bit of luck and talent involved.
Well,
everybody that's got lucky is talented. Let's always say that, and they're always trying.
And
I did work.
Rarely does some bum off the street get lucky.
That's true, though.
People that are trying hard and that are talented are the ones.
And I have to tell myself that too. But
well, and it sounds like you came into it with the right attitude. So when they say you earned it,
and you found it, and you found a nice avenue. You found a nice avenue without having to go sit through the bullshit classes.
Yeah,
you like made some money off your art. You realized you were pretty talented at this. You found that maybe tattooing was an option. You got into that industry. You got your foot in the door. This sounds like a bunch of calculated moves by a fucking smart person to me.
You got in there. They found out you was really cool, and they found out that you had some history in art, and you're trying to move on.
They saw my potential for sure.
Yeah, we can.
And I'm super glad that they gave me a chance because you know, there's so many talented artists in this town, and it didn't have to be me, but obviously I'm glad it was.
Well, you work for it.
But you know, I did.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I made the decision a long time ago that you know, this is going to be my life one way or another. I'm going to do art regardless of what that looks like.
It's a lifestyle that I choose.
Absolutely. And I thankfully was able to get under Jose as my mentor, and he was amazing.
You had a couple lucky, like you had some good art teachers.
Yeah.
You had some confidence. You had Jose and a couple people that promoted you into some right places. Those are some couple lucky things.
Yeah.
But I present to you, and I always present to you that working hard, being talented, sets you up for those lucky positions, and then you can take advantage of them.
All right. So here's the setup.
Some people luck into lucky things, and they're not ready for them. They fuck them up.
This is a setup I want to know
That's
about.
true.
This is a setup I want to know about. So you were on stage with Snoop Dogg painting a picture of Snoop Dogg. How did this happen?
Yeah, philosopher.
What happened?
So that was a kind of a combination of two things. I had been doing a lot of live painting. I started doing the live painting first with I'm trying to think. I started with Tribal Roots.
Nice.
They do a lot of like EDM.
They're the most kick-ass sound system in there.
I'm familiar.
They literally have one of the best sound systems.
We have a lot of friends of the show that are involved with Tribal Roots.
Yeah. So I started painting with them. I went to one of their shows and I was like, how can I be a part of this?
Yeah.
This is fucking cool.
And they immediately welcomed me with open arms, and I've kind of been their like resident artist, as we say.
I like it.
So I usually am there most of their shows.
Well,
and then I got invited by Enjoy Fountain,
Beautiful.
who we're trying to get on the show. Come on, Enjoy. Go fucking right.
You can
Yeah, she should.
Yeah, she could come in.
But she's awesome.
She's a part of the Monica House. She does some shit here too. We'll
Yeah, absolutely, she does.
Yeah, so.
She's very involved in the music scene, obviously,
and the music theater scene too.
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
And
I think she started with music theater.
And that's what I'm trying to get. And Enjoy, that's what we want you to come on for. We want you to come on.
We haven't had that yet.
Yeah, we want you to
Yeah.
come.
And I really want you to
come
talk
and,
about it.
Yeah, we want you to come and pimp the music theater scene for sure.
So she invited me out of the blue. I had just been like admiring her from afar, but then she actually messaged me and asked if I did speed painting, and I was like,
Yes.
I was like, sure, yeah,
Yes, I do.
whatever you
Actually,
need.
I am the best speed painter you've ever fucking met.
If you got the speed, I got the painting.
So
Yeah,
she was doing a expo, like a talent expo at not St. Jude, at the Crown Uptown, and
Nice.
she was doing a tribute to Aretha Franklin.
Oh, fuck.
I remember that.
And so she wanted me to speed paint Aretha Franklin. So I had to practice oh gosh, it was so stressful. But I ended up, after a lot of practice and stress,
you prepared.
Oh, so you practiced your painting.
yeah,
You got it
I
down,
painted
dude.
Aretha Franklin
This girl doesn't
in
fuck around. You can't
in
see the drive in this girl.
two
No, I
and a
just
did it by
half
accident.
minutes.
I just picked up what she was talking about. Like
While
2.5 minutes. you
while
got the painting.
Enjoy was singing, "You Make Me Feel," that song.
Yeah.
Sorry for my
Natural-
horrible singing.
Yeah,
No,
actually,
that's
I since we can hear a lot of singing. Don't we, Aaron?
Lots.
But
we hear lots of singing. That wasn't it wasn't bad.
So I painted Aretha Franklin in 2.5 minutes or whatever it was
awesome.
to that song while she was singing.
That's some real fucking speed painting. I
And-
didn't really think it was
and-
gonna be that fast.
She had to practice it.
It was
That's what
crazy.
I'm saying.
I did. And that led me to kind of doing more live painting in like the live music scene here.
Yeah.
So I started performing at different local shows, like at Brickyard.
So what I talked about earlier, you really did it hard. You did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was surprised you didn't know that,
Well,
because that was like what I was known for a while, was doing the live
I love
painting.
that part of it.
Yeah.
I knew you had done it. I looked up and seen that you'd done it, but I didn't know you had done it.
That
so
was
much.
I was doing that pretty heavy for a few years. I've like kind of
And that landed you
stepped back on it a little, but trying to remember where this was all going to
Snoop
go.
Dogg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It landed you on the stage of
So
Snoop Dogg somehow.
I had started painting
Way to have that in
for
the pocket.
local like rappers, local musicians, yeah, just lots of different things.
It's hard to think of their name, right?
yeah.
Rudy Love was a huge.
I painted for a lot of
asset in
his
that show.
shows.
And he's great to have an artist on. Shout out to Rudy Love. He's
Yeah.
done the show before too.
And killing it right now with Two Lot, by the way,
Yeah,
Rudy.
he
I
is.
see what you're doing.
Yeah,
I love
we
it.
love you, brother. We love you, brother.
Yeah, he's super talented. I did some shows with him and his like collective, with Thane as well.
Yep, Thane from For the Birds. Is
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love that.
So it just kind of branched out. So it was like it started with
We gotta do a show
Enjoy,
with them.
and then I kind of ended up meeting other musicians through that. But that's kind of like Tribal Roots, and then that was kind of like the EDM scene. But then with the live
'Cause
music
that's more
scene,
rave type shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of had these two avenues
so.
where
Yeah,
I
we
was
could just blow a warehouse out with this big ass sand system.
I was doing
big-
live painting kind of in both scenes, and love both of them for their own reasons. But with the Snoop Dogg stuff, at first it was Rudy Love Jr. was opening for Snoop Dogg, which is awesome, and he was cool enough to be like, he could have just sat there and like done the whole thing himself,
He
but
shared the platform.
he did, yeah. And he
always does, man.
He does.
Almost always does. I
yeah.
love that about
I
him.
definitely give him credit for that. Like
If he's able, he will.
he
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, first and foremost, it is him. So I mean, he got to go for him himself first. But he always shares the platform very well.
He includes as many
He
locals
does.
as he
He
can.
invites people to shit. He lets people come to shit all the time. Shout out to Rudy Love.
And
I shout out to him
let's be
twice
real.
in this show. I love the man.
Let's
I
be
love
real,
him. I
okay?
love the man
Like
and what he's doing.
we got Snoop Dogg on stage and Rudy Love opening. Rudy Love is a big name here locally, and he brought on a whole bunch of other local
For
names
sure.
just to kind of
Just because I
Share
think he
that
just wanted to
platform.
show like what Wichita had to offer.
Yeah,
So
share
he
that
was like,
platform.
I'm gonna get everybody that needs or deserves this platform, and he put them all on one stage, which is awesome. So I was
Sir Charles.
lucky enough to be
bunch of
included
artists.
in that. So he was like, hey, do you want to live paint at our opening, and I was like, obviously.
Fuck yes.
So I was already planning, and this was all kind of last minute, right? This was like a week, whatever.
Sometimes your biggest like cool things are like, can you do this?
Tell me
tomorrow?
about it.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me
This
about
fucking
it.
tomorrow?
Hey, can you be here in 15 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's this cool, fuck yes, I can be here in 15 minutes.
Right.
I jumped on the opportunity. I was like, of course, yes. And I started planning my painting for that show. So I only, we only had like, an hour or whatever for the set, the opening set.
Gotcha.
So you had to paint that set piece for an hour. You got basically an hour to
Right.
finish.
So I had already started painting it. A lot of people are confused about that because they're like, oh, you painted all like, no, I started it. I had it like mostly done.
I got my background in there. And I got
Because I knew, in front of that many
Got the base
people,
down.
I
Gotta get the
wanted,
base down.
I wanted it to be actually finished by the end of it. So but I only had like, 2-3 days before the actual show. So I was usually a painting that like is to that level of what I did, that would take me months, a lot of time.
Yeah, it's not,
and
just,
I had
it's
to,
not just like a fast art piece.
Yeah,
like,
no.
This is a real fucking.
And
that's
I-
not the speed.
I
painting.
knew-
Yeah, we ain't doing a fucking speed painting.
exactly.
Right.
So I had to really step up my game.
So getting a little base down is fucking apropos in my opinion.
So,
let's be ready.
I painted Snoop himself. I don't know if you guys have seen the painting, but it's him. He's smoking a joint,
Yeah, I've seen
and then
it.
the smoke is like just my abstract stuff. But
I saw it on your stuff because I looked through all your stuff since we were having you on, but I didn't know
Cool.
you actually got to paint that on.
yeah,
I didn't know you
so
painted
so
that
I
on
started
stage.
it a few
So I got
days
schooled on that part of it.
before the show, and then so I at that point that was all that I knew, right? That I was just gonna paint on the stage at the opening for Snoop Dogg, and I was like, cool. That's amazing.
I can't wait to put that on my fucking resume.
But then the second aspect of it was I got a call from Mulberry Gallery.
With Anthony Joyner.
Anthony Joyner called me up.
Love that you have these
Love
things.
him. He's amazing. He's doing
He's
absolutely
incredible.
amazing things for our community.
That you got a call. That's really incredible. He's focused on black artists.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
yeah.
but yeah, but-
He focuses on that, which is absolutely important. But some people have, been like, oh, you only, and it's like, no, it's
Or
not.
some people were just important.
It's not just that, but there is
culture.
absolutely a need to
Yeah.
focus on black artists,
Well,
which
we
he
course,
does.
right.
Well,
Of
we can
course,
focus. You can focus on the black culture without always them being black artists.
Yeah.
well,
so he,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
he,
Like,
I
he
get you.
supports
But
all
Mulberry-
artists.
we've
But
been
that's
really
that's
trying
their
to-
we
main
always want to
focus.
uplift black culture because we always have been stealing it since Elvis, or maybe before. But like you can, like we have adapted part of the black culture too. So like we are a part of it too.
No,
as well.
but that's cool. You got the call. is what I'm
So
saying.
yeah, he called me up and he was like, hey, the people at Wave, they really want to commission a painting to gift to Snoop Dogg because
wow.
apparently when he does his shows, he
Okay.
tries to take things from every place he visits as
Why
like
not? What a cool aspect.
keepsakes or
That's
So
cool.
I get it now. I get it. I understand. Yeah.
so it was just really funny because I was
awesome.
basically like already working on, getting my painting ready. And he calls me. He's like, hey,
That's
do you
probably what
think
he
you
heard.
could? No, he had no idea.
Oh, really?
He was like, that's why it was so crazy. He was like, do you think you could have a painting done by the end of the show? And I'm like, I'm literally working on it right now.
You know, for the right amount of money, I could
Absolutely.
probably
Again,
make this
talented,
go.
prepared people make those
It
opportunities.
isn't
work.
luck. It isn't luck.
It
There
was-
is luck there.
There's
but
luck
she
involved,
was
but it's
prepared.
not all luck.
She was prepared.
I'm very
That's
lucky,
amazing.
but also I work my fucking ass
See,
off.
that's what I'm.
Goddamn
That's my
right you
point.
do.
I
Everybody-
really do. Whether or not I
there's-
make it look easy, I fucking work my
Goddamn
ass
right
off.
you do.
Some people think it all works easy and it's all luck. It's not luck.
I started
No.
from
Talented,
nothing.
prepared people take advantage of lucky situations.
Yeah.
We take advantage of lucky situations because you're prepared and ready. Because he's like, can I have this painting? Hey, guess what? I've been working and stressing
I'm already
about this.
working on it.
I've been working and stressing about this motherfucker. I got this motherfucker
Yeah.
ready for you.
So of course I was like, yeah, I'm already working on this painting. I would absolutely,
I'm just
love
gonna snip.
for Snoop to be gifted this. So basically, he was working with the owners of Wave, and they were commissioning artists. Dominique Joyner, Anthony's wife, but also in her own right, amazing
Yeah,
artist.
I've heard of her too as well.
I actually showed with her in July. love her stuff so much. She's
So what does it mean showed with her? Explain that. Just a little
we
bit.
had an art show together.
So you guys like
a joint art show.
Displayed both of your arts.
Yeah, at Art House 310. It was kind of like half the gallery was her art, half was mine. But we were so excited to be
That's badass.
put up together because I think our styles kind of complement each other. So I was very happy about that. But she's amazing, but she also did a painting to be gifted to Snoop Dogg as well. So
both of you guys have some art in Snoop Dogg, one of his properties. Your guys' art's just kicking it.
So Snoop got a gallery sitting around.
Oh, Snoop's got a museum somewhere.
I bet he does.
Listen,
I bet he does at a couple of different
I'm
properties.
gonna tell you.
No, she knows.
Let me educate you real quick.
Why we speculate, let you educate.
Right.
So what had happened was I did the painting. I finished it on stage. Super cool. And she also had a painting that was gifted to him as well. She just didn't happen to be painting it on the stage as well. But her painting was so cool too. It was of Snoop with like a crown and like the lyrics in the background. And he actually posted that on his Instagram, which is super cool.
Nice. Way cool.
That's a nice project.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
She's on the platform looking for days.
I know, right? If only he would tag the artists, but it's fine.
The thing is,
I don't think he runs his own Instagram.
I think he doesn't.
He probably don't. Man.
But
he does not.
He did. Think about somebody so popular. If they don't, so now I tag one artist. If I don't tag everybody, I'm a dick now. You know how much of a fucking burden it's like if you if you miss somebody's birthday on Facebook type of thing.
Oh, it kills me.
So I don't say happy birthday to a fucking soul because it's like
I generally don't either, man.
I hear that.
So that's probably that's when you're that big.
I thought I was alone there.
Can you imagine what his like thing is to deal with?
I think he just smokes weed and minds his business
and doesn't deal with his Instagram
I think
page
it's no, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure it's DJ Who Kid or whoever that is.
Yeah, I mean he has a production team.
He has a guy, but that guy was there. And so anyway, I did the painting, and because of those two things, me already having the opportunity to live paint on the stage, and then because of Anthony, that painting was also going to be gifted to him, commissioned by Wave. So that was pretty cool. So I was backstage after I had completed my painting on stage, and I was just chilling back there watching the rest of the show. Glad I wasn't in that super crowded audience.
You get to be big. Everybody likes the big time a little.
I was
to be part of the backstage show.
I was just kind of like I didn't, I was just kind of there by myself, basically. Like everybody,
But you get to be I was the artist on stage, and I get to kick it.
I was there, yeah. So I was just kind of like if here's the stage, I was just like this. Just watching from
I wish
the
you could have been with
sidelines.
me when I was like antagonistic about like the famous people I was around.
Well, it's fun. I don't want. I mean, famous people and all, it's fun. But it's always fun when you get to be like on the inside of a venue or an event.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, like I imagine everybody that gets to do art at a cool event, you're getting to do art at an event with a local hero and a national artist that everybody
The Dogfather.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
just being a fly on the wall in the backstage of that makes you feel fucking awesome.
I was just happy
righteous.
to be there.
Yeah.
I was like, how did this?
Anybody that can't get off on that experience, go fuck yourself. Like that is a fucking fun experience to be like the.
You don't know how to have fun.
Yeah, like to be backstage at some shit is cool.
It was awesome.
To be
So
VIP at a show.
I got to just kind of Snoop, his green room and everything else was on the opposite side of the stage, of course, and then we were all over here.
Well, I mean,
So I was like stage. Let's see, how does it work? I think I was
stage circle to the
stage.
All right. On the stage, if you're on the stage looking at the crowd, it's stage right, stage left.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I was stage left.
There you go.
And he was.
And I know that.
I love that you turned.
You had to go.
Which is crazy because I actually have like a musical theater background.
No,
I
she
got
went to
it.
the right
Leave me
compass
alone.
directions.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. So, but we were all on the stage left, and then I remember it was funny too when I had my painting done. When our opening act was over, I set it behind, like it was still on the stage, but there's like a little panel where there's like the DJ stuff and then there's like a little wall type thing, and then there's like a space behind that. So I set my easel and my painting like facing that way.
Get this all on camera, bitches.
I was like, well, you couldn't see it from the audience, but I was thinking like Snoop will see this painting when he comes on stage. But that was
this girl ain't, like I said,
I like it. That's smart.
Shit
That's
ain't
smart,
happening
though.
by accident.
But
It don't happen by accident.
But here's the thing. So that didn't work out because he obviously, of course, since I've said it here, he went the opposite way.
100%.
It's fine. So he didn't see it when
His shit was staged right.
See, the thing is that you're
Come on
thinking.
the
The thing
wrong
is
way.
that you're thinking about that's enough. It's not always going to work out. Like
so,
Shoot
but
and miss.
listen. So listen.
I'm always
So I had it there. He didn't see when he first walked on. He did his show. There were people, mixed reviews. People thought it wasn't actually him. I can tell you.
Was that his DJ show that he did? Was that his DJ show?
It's
that he
DJ
did?
Snoopadelic.
It was
It's not Snoop Dogg. It's DJ Snoopadelic. It's
People
same God, different show.
weren't.
Yeah, he's not going to rap for 3 hours.
He did not rap for 3 hours. He basically just played, songs of the era. And he did rap for a couple of his songs that
Yeah,
happened
but
to
he was
be
more
on
like
the place.
DJing a party.
Yeah, that's
what that
pretty much
is.
what it was.
That's what that
okay.
is.
If
So-
it doesn't
I
make
can-
sense, read the fucking bill.
Because I
People
can get that
didn't-
show.
they didn't
people
read the bill.
weren't-
They thought they were coming to a Snoop Dogg concert.
They
didn't
weren't
know what the fuck they were
clear.
doing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Straight up, I could buy that show for like the 25.
And honestly,
$50,000.
Shaq does the same shit. Did you expect
Man.
Shaq to do 8 albums? He does the same shit too.
Les Claypool. What band do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
So so he did his show. I had a great time. I was just chilling there on the side of the stage, just like
Fucking, I'm in the
just
back.
jamming,
Everybody, you have to be the cool girl in the back.
So
That's kind of my jam.
after the show had ended, he goes back to his stage right, green room. And he, of course, didn't walk past my painting. So see, he still had no idea.
So 2 times now you're fucking stressing.
He had no idea it
and
existed.
that you notice really makes me like you a lot. That you're noticing this.
Well, I had nothing
You
else to
said-
do. I wasn't there like, with.
Yeah, but you're there
I
with
was
an
just-
incentive. You set your poster up. You
I
set
was
your
just
painting
there
up, hoping-
waiting.
like you're setting alignment. Like
I
walking
knew
this
he was
motherfucker.
gonna get it, but I was just waiting for I really
You're
like.
waiting for the reaction.
I wanted to see his initial
Reaction.
Did you throw little rocks at him and be like,
Yeah, it's like she's like I like so, again, even though it didn't work out, like she set it up 2 times and was watching that you had a plan and we're trying to get that reaction shows me the kind of artist and person you are. Like she was fucking trying to make sure her painting got seen by the artist she needed.
goddamn
I
right.
knew he was gonna get it at the end of the night because that was the deal.
But you don't get to see the reaction at that point.
And that means a lot to me, like just that initial reaction. Like
You should have just went and grabbed that
I put
motherfucker and
in
handed it to
so.
him.
Oh well, they had okay. So here's the thing
they had
too.
it planned out a bit.
They had a security guy on the stage for obvious reasons that I think they usually do.
To roll joints.
And he was around and he knew that was me because he was walking around the stage the whole time backstage.
So he's in on it. He knows who
So
you are.
he saw that painting and then like eventually he realized like, oh, that was you that did that. Very cool. So we were like homies, right? Like he was like, hell yeah.
And you were smart enough to
That's
make
good.
She's smart enough to make friends with the staff.
And
Amen.
so we were cool, right? I think at one point too, I have a really lucky paintbrush also. It's my little liner brush and I've used it for many paintings for many
So you ain't
years.
getting rid of this brush for nothing.
And I dropped it. It was on the stage. So the entire show, I was on the side of the stage. I couldn't go on the stage because that would be trespassing and I would get kicked off the stage. But I was just
I feel like you could have went and grabbed your brush.
no, I couldn't. I was like staring
I
at
would've.
it for hours.
Did you like try to lasso it?
No, but I was just watching it. I was like, that's my
Where
brush.
did you get string?
I was like, that's my brush. And eventually, I asked the security guy, I was like, hey, that's my brush.
You fucking get that for me, bro.
And he did get it. But so I still have that brush and that's still my lucky brush.
Shout out to that guy, the security guy who got the brush for her.
Even luckier now. But anyway,
Kinda, yeah,
so
now it's got a
that's
fucking
that's
name to it.
slightly significant because that security guy. After the show had ended, I was still just backstage. I just planted myself directly next to the stage. Like if this is the stage, I was just like right here, and the show had ended. All of the local people, I remember on my side, they were just like, okay, we're out of here. Let's go grab a beer. And they cleared out pretty much right away. And I was like, was like, you guys are stupid because, you know, if you might stick around,
You know what's happening.
you never know. I didn't know that.
Sometimes you just wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm backstage. Why would I leave? Like,
I always tell people, if you're doing this, watch the buses.
you know,
Watch the bus.
Let the people leave though. You
let 'em
you're
leave.
Now one of the only ones left.
Yeah, well, you watch the buses though,
Feel
because
me?
if the cool people leave in the buses, it's time to get out of there.
Yeah,
So-
that's not what's happening.
so I was just there and I was just watching. I was just waiting for the moment that my painting moved, because at this point it was still just sitting where I had left it. And he hadn't seen it yet. It was just there backstage.
Snap, please.
And I was like standing backstage for like 20 minutes after the show. Eventually I see the owners of Wave. They come up and they grab the painting and they take it back to the opposite side where I'm not allowed to go.
And now you're like, no.
Yeah, I was like, well, I
You're
guess
like that balloon. You're your kid with the balloon that just flew away.
I know. I was like, well, I guess that's it, you know, and I was kind of disappointed, but I was like, you know what? Nobody's kicking me out. I was like the only
I'm
one.
hanging.
Still here,
There was
motherfucker.
nobody.
I'm fucking hanging.
Yeah, I was just there and I was like, nobody's telling me to leave, so I'm just gonna kind of stand here.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna play this out as long as it goes. Somebody asked me a question. Somebody gonna ask me a question. I'm gonna be like, I'm supposed to be here. They told me to wait
Well,
here.
they knew who I was
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point. Like the staff, like the, you know, like the security guy, like they knew. Like, so they were
Hit
just
me if we get to 15.
I'm just waiting on my check.
I just my go-to move is they told me to wait here.
right. So I was like, I'm not gonna leave until they tell me to leave. But so they grab the painting, they take it back to the opposite side, and I'm just there waiting. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I guess that's it. But you know, I was like, maybe like, something in me just told me to like just
Storm the bus.
just stay here, just wait. And like I was waiting there for like, it seemed like forever, but it was probably like 15, 20 minutes maybe. People were, you know, gradually leaving. It's clear now. It's show's over, right? And then out of nowhere, that same security guy, I see him come out through the opposite side. He steps out. He's looking around. And I'm just like standing here. I haven't moved the whole time.
Maybe if I don't move, he won't see me.
No, but he was looking for me.
Oh, really?
He saw
He
me
said, "Come
standing there.
back."
I'll never forget it. He pointed right at me.
Yeah.
He said, "You," and I was like, "Me," and he's like, he runs over and he grabs my hand and he rushes me back there. He's like, "Come on." So it was like a dream. Like he literally grabs my hand and I go up this stage and we run. We're literally running to the opposite side of the stage.
Okay, stop right there. Tune in next week for the continuation of this story.
That'd be beautiful, but we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. Sorry, I just thought of this joke. I couldn't help it. So anyway, continue this.
Oh, I thought you were serious. I was like, wait.
I was totally not. That's what's even brilliant about this joke.
It's like
I just wrote on the fly.
I'm rambling.
He shouldn't have rumblements.
Okay, I know.
So
But anyway, so finish the story. Sorry.
So he rushes me back there, and I'm losing my mind, right? But apparently he saw the painting once they took it back there, and he was like, "Where did this come from? Who did this?" They're like, "Oh, it was the artist that painted during your."
And he was like,
set."
"She might be still out there."
He actually asked, like, "Where is she?" Like I want to meet her.
that's badass.
He wanted
That's
to.
cool. That's
like,
really cool.
Badass. See, aren't you glad you
Right?
turned in next week for this story?
you know. So
We edit
so he
this
rushes
out.
me back there, and I walk down to this little patio area, and it's Snoop Dogg. He's standing there, of course, smoking a joint. He's chill as can be. He's got his team around him.
It's on the echelon.
The owners of Wave are talking to him. They're thanking him. And I'm just kind of standing there super awkwardly like, oh my God, I'm about to meet Snoop Dogg. This is crazy. I didn't know how to act. I was,
Yeah, how do you act?
I
think you just fucking geek out.
I think you rolled your own blunts.
I think you just geek
like-
out. I fucking loved you. I'm sorry. I'll just be
that
weird.
was
Fuck
that
it.
was
It's Snoop Dogg.
essentially me, but just like
That was
more
weird.
chill. Like
Sorry,
I
that's Snoop Dogg. Bro.
I didn't know what to say
That
really.
motherfucker changed my life.
I wish we had like a crazy deep conversation, but it was very short and sweet. But I can honestly say he's super down to earth. He's exactly what you would expect and hope for him to be like. He's not one of those people where it's like he seems chill and you meet him and he's a huge asshole. No, he was super sweet.
Yeah.
That's good. It's nice when you meet your heroes and they're fucking cool.
He seems very genuine to his friends.
He was just like, thank you so much for the painting. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm going to hang it in. In his, it's called the Snoop Compound.
So she even knew. He's got a Snoop museum.
Well,
Snoop-museum.
The Snoop Compound is his music studio. It's like a big mansion, from my understanding, where there's like, you know, he invites people to come do whatever. He records music.
I bet there's a basketball court.
That's the public face.
like stuff like that.
It's like his giant man cave.
That's
his
the public
I will
space.
say to you, how fucking cool is it that you have a fucking piece of art
My
hanging in
painting
that place?
is in his art gallery area.
That's
of
awesome.
his-
Shout out to Michella for having a fucking painting.
Michelle, how do we find you? How do we
first
get
and
with
foremost, I feel like you did some research. I cannot believe you came in with a Jid hoodie on.
I'm glad you recognize.
And if you wondered why I've been staring at you crazy this whole time because I've been waiting to bring this up, that's my favorite artist in the world right
I
now.
love Jid.
I'm going to Jid and Simio or Semino or however you say that motherfucker's name. I'm going to their concert in March. In Kansas
Nice.
City.
I saw him. Where I got this hoodie was.
I figured you saw a Jid show. I was like,
I saw him in Lawrence before he even like
Shit,
really.
where at? Granada?
The
or
goddamn
Liberty
Granada.
The Granasty,
Granada?
baby. The Granasty in this motherfucker.
He
That's my
hadn't
shit
even
right
blown
there.
up crazy at that point.
I mean, he's been on my radar for a hot minute.
And you know what else?
Anybody in Dreamville, like Dreamville Earth Gang, and everybody in Dreamville, Ariana Lennox,
Yes.
everybody in Earth Gang is my shit. Like
Yes.
I am so balls deep in Earth Gang. I actually saw we were here. Aaron was running a tad late. She was pulling up to the podcast. We still had to go grab some refreshments for the After Hours podcast at Monica House, and I saw your hoodie right then. I was like, this girl got a fucking Jid hoodie on.
You're about to say this, bitch.
Like
It's okay, you can say it.
Well, that's how cool you was.
No, bitch is a power move now.
Bitch,
Bitch is
I
like-
was using bitch in like the power.
No, it's fine. I get it.
To have,
reclaimed now. It's
To have
reclaimed.
a fucking Jid hoodie that I wish I had. I was fucking.
No, I got this at his show.
Because I knew you got it at a show. Because they used to just order off the internet.
No,
That's merch
yeah,
to buy.
it was his Catch Me If You Can tour in Lawrence. I actually got meet and greet passes. And another fun fact is, if you follow me as an artist, you probably know I'm a big fan of Mac Miller.
Okay, why segue into where can we follow you as an artist too? After all that,
Sure.
tell us all the places.
My Instagram is just Michella_Tripoli. So just
Is that
like,
the best place to get a hold of you? Your Instagram?
that's where you can find
We gotta step up
most
our
of
Instagram.
my art.
I know.
I'm working on it.
I'm the most
on it.
active on Facebook, like just my personal Facebook. I'm working on being more active on my art Facebook. So it's either just my personal Facebook, Michella Tripoli, or my art page, which is just Art by Michella Tripoli. And then I also have a website, michellatripoli.art.
That's probably the best and foremost.
That's like my shop.
That
So
helps everything,
if
yeah.
you
Go to that first.
if you
right?
type in michellatripoli.art, it'll link you to my my store where you
Can we get tattoo appointments and everything through that?
that is just my
Oh, that'd be dope.
that's just my painting stuff. So that's just like
that's your artist stuff.
that's my
How do we, like-
paintings, prints. I do shirts, stickers, all that stuff.
It's working. She ain't fucking
For
around.
tattoos,
about the
eventually I'll have a better like system. I'm kind of figuring that out still, but you can message my tattoo Instagram, which is Don't Trip Tats, all one word.
Spell it out for
I like
these
it.
motherfuckers.
Don't trip.
Spell it out for them right here. Right
Don't
This camera.
trip.
And here's your camera's right here.
Don't
trip, motherfuckers.
TRIPTATS. Don't Trip is
And we'll post this in the description of the YouTube video as well, and the Spotify video.
I tell people if you want to book tattoos, you can message me, but I'm notoriously horrible at responding to messages.
Artists they get a lot of dumb fucking messages from a bunch of people they got to filter out. So just hit them on the personal page. That's why I sent you a message, and I was like, I'll just wait.
I
shall get to it
don't
eventually.
check my messages super often.
I can
and-
only imagine the shit that a young female artist gets on Facebook Messenger. So that's
Tell me
why
about it.
I can't even imagine.
So,
can't even fucking imagine.
the easiest way is just
It's
to
like what Aaron's private Facebook
It irritates me, man.
Yeah, like the fastest way is to just stop by the shop. So you can always come by Symbolic Tattoo. You can call ahead to check like, hey, is Michella in? I want to come by and book with her, and they'll let you know if I'm there or not.
So
Awesome.
get with everything at Symbolic Tattoo. Get with her on her Instagram. Get with her on her Facebook page, and be patient.
Yes.
Especially if you send money for artwork and everything first. Like those, like the weird creep messages take a minute to get through. But if you send stuff like, hey, like I'm looking for artwork, you'd be surprised how much faster those get through.
I'm grateful for everyone that messages me, but
And
yeah, it takes some time.
Thank you for doing this. This has been a great episode. I could have done another fucking hour and a half. You were absolutely amazing guest.
Episode 39.
Episode 39 in the can.
buddy.
That's a wrap, motherfuckers.
That's
Wow.
a wrap. That's what Owen says.
That's we
Sometimes
gotta
I
say
do
it.
that. Hey, I'm not gonna stop until I hear my fucking theme song, though.
Did John fall asleep back there?
No,
Yeah,
no,
he's
I'm
probably,
just being
he's
a
probably
sound
passed
guy.
out.
Fucking sound guy. Appreciate it.
Oh, there we go. Who the fuck wrote this?